All right, so my name is EGWERO Prosper. I'm going to be your tutor this evening on data analytics masterclass. So this is the first class. So we are just starting this program this night. And like we all know, that is a crash program, which means that within a short period of time, we are expected to cover a lot of data analysis tools or softwares. Uh, Tonight, I'll be focusing on the basic foundation on data analytics, what you need to know about data analytics, because I want to believe this is a program you are just breaking into and you may not have enough knowledge about it. So to start with, this session is actually dedicated for enlightenment as regard to what data analytics is all about. But I want to start by congratulating you, those of us that made it here. It's a great opportunity for you to start the journey tonight. Thank you very much. So just a brief introduction to this platform where you are learning this test kit from. So this is DigiTestZ Hub. Our aim is to reach out to as many in their comfort zone or homes with different IT skills. That is one of our primary objective. We did a research before we established this platform, and our research shows that there are a lot of, we have about 80% of persons or people that are actually distant from technology, which we call technology gap. So what I mean is that there is a huge gap between the technological people and people who are not in tech. And what we discover as one of the major factors that have kept these people away from this is not being able to access facility. I'm referring to the physical outlet where the traditional learning center. And we also discovered that most of them are living in areas where they are not even connected to where we have some of these facilities for acquiring IT skills. So our objective is to connect to everybody, irrespective of your location. You should be able to reach out to us. Then we should be able to bring the service to your doorstep. So that is our primary objective. Now, in case you want to also know what are the technological program we offer on this platform and why we are unique, why every individual that is seeking for a platform to learn tech skills should choose DigiTestZ Hub, is that our core value is integrity. That is number one value. Core value is integrity. We say we are going to do it by God's grace, we will deliver. Any program we advertise here, I can assure you that we have done our findings. We have probably know the capacity of whoever that will be featured on this platform. Anybody that will be featured on this platform is expected to be an expert that have spent not less than 5 years experience in tech. So apart from that, one of the reasons why this platform is recommended is that we, like I said, we have experience and we are still in practice. These are not outdated instructors. These are people who are still practicing in one field or the other, either in training field or in service field. So that is a bit intro about DigiTZ. We have a website where you can get more information about this platform. I believe the website address should be posted in the Zoom message box. All right. So this evening, like I said, I am EGWERO Prosper. I'm a data analyst and a data scientist. And I will be taking us through the fundamental of data analysis. At the end of this section, you are expected to know what data analysis is all about. At the end of this session, you should be able to know the difference between data analysis or data analytics and the so-called machine learning, which is another aspect of tech that is trending right now. At the end of this session, you should be able to know the data analytics tools. You should be able to know the programming languages that you need to learn for you to be a sound data analyst or a data scientist. At the end of this session, you'll be able to know the techniques that are applicable in data analytics. And then, of course, at the end of this session, you should be able to know the salary, the job opportunity. What are the job description of a data analyst and a data scientist, and the salary structure. So all this you will get to know in this section. The next section shall be introduction to the first and one of the most used data analytics software called Advanced Excel. But this session is just to give us all the necessary information. My goal or my objective is that at the end of this session, you should know what this program is all about, and then you can start preparing your mind towards this program you just enrolled for. So quickly, let's start with this is the focus for tonight, like I've already highlighted. So we'll look at what is data analytics. I believe something prompted you to put in for this program. I'll tell you more about it. And like I said, I congratulate you because you have just taken that giant step. Now, number two, we'll be looking at types of data analytics and the application techniques. These are like logic that we use in drawing insights from data for effective or smart decision making. They will also look at data analytics software or tools, and they will look at difference between data analytics and data science. Then we will look at data analytics job description, and of course, we'll end it with an average data analyst and data scientist salary. So you will know why I congratulated you. Now let's start. What is data analytics? I believe you have been hearing this particular tech field. And I don't want to assume that you know the reason why you are here. So I'd like to find out. So I'll be calling name at some point. This is a master class. We don't rush master class. And one of the advantage of master class is that it's going to be interactive. So I will not be the only one talking. So at some point, I would like to get live feedback from you. So feel free to be noting your observation or question as the lecture is going on. So once I pause and I ask you if there's any question, you can chip it in, and then for me to know if you are actually following me. So I want to start with Mr. Jolly. Mr. Jolly, what prompted you to actually put in for this program, sir?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Prosper. What prompted me is that I know that the current trend in the professional practice, any professional practice, is tech.
Right.
Practice medicine without tech. can practice banking, can practice production, can practice management. That tech, personally, I'm a management expert.
All right.
And I discovered that I need to keep myself well abreast with relevant tech field or knowledge and skills to make me sharpen my competencies. And I also want to have additional knowledge so that I can also have improved earning. When you have multiple streams of income that you can do without breaking your neck, is a good thing. So tech is, in fact, just tech is the thing. Anybody that's not in tech is not serious. I know that too well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jolly. Now, that's informed me that you have an objective and you are already goal oriented for this program. Now, what I would advise you is that with all these acknowledgements as the reason why this program is at What Learning is for you to put more effort. Like they say, practice make perfect. Now, anything that to do, yeah, perfection. Now, every program, every program, every program in tech that you break into, there is need for consistency. And that is the reason why I wanted to know whether you have interest, because it is only when you have that interest that you can be consistent. You know that you are pursuing something. You will not just be running without a target. All right. So I want to also ask, I can say Flourish here. Flourish, why do you join this section? What are your objectives?
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, I heard about the class. I
Okay.
looked at it, and I think I took interest in the data analysis just to get some few details to know if I can venture into it in the future on.
Okay, so but I want to believe that you are also aware of other tech domains out there, but you
Yes,
choose
sir.
to join this very one. What is that exact thing that motivated you? Or is it because the name data analytics sounds, sweet or nice? Is that the reason why you you decide to go this way, or is there any research
No, no, no.
that is lucrative and that is the current trading tech skill?
Okay. Currently, I'm doing a class,
Okay.
but I'm looking into this data analytics for future run.
Okay.
In case in terms of I want to have some 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 knowledge about it
Okay.
because because of the calculations involved, and if you go to the supermarket, the way they will just impute some data and you will just get results without stressing yourself. I hope to
So
have
you have
some
been you have been
knowledge about data
wondering
analysis.
you have been wondering what are the techniques, what are the algorithms
Yes,
people are using
yes,
to make their work easier,
yes,
just like what Mr. Jolly said, right? So you
yes, sir.
are in the right place. All right. Okay, so let's quickly dive into the main business. Like you can rightly see on my screen, there's a question there. What is data analytics? Data analytics is the process of examining and interpreting data. Look at the keyword. I highlighted those keywords because each time you analyze data and you cannot detect insight, pattern, and trend, you have not analyzed the data. The whole essence of data analysis is for you to detect, to find out, to draw insight from data, and to understand the pattern. So as we proceed, I'll get to let you know what are insight, what are patterns, and what are trends. Just like I just interviewed us now. One of the reasons why you choose this program because it's trending. It's trending. There are other computer program, but you choose to enroll for it for this particular one because you acknowledge that this is actually what trending. This is the AI. This is the current and the future. By rating, data analytics is the first, followed by cyber security. These are the two tech domain that are selling right now and that also have the potential of still being in the market even in the future. So these two programs tend to retire some program, but let me just stay on this. It involves using various techniques. So the difference between a data analyst and that supermarket data entry personnel that only enter the data is that we have some skill sets. We have some logic that we apply on data to get the insight, to get the patterns, and to get what? The trend. So there is another keyword which is called outliers. Outliers. So as we proceed, you get to know the meaning of these terminologies, like I said. So I will not want to bore us with this advanced 10 because this is a master class. As we continue, you get to be hearing them often and often, and you will see the practicalization of all these terms. And when you see them, you can now conform them with what I will have said so far. So it involves using various techniques, tools, and methods to analyze data. Now let's take a step back. Anybody in this class is expected to have graduated from computer secondary school or primary school. This is computer university because this is an advanced or professional program. So which means that you ought to have graduated from what we call SFS, Swift's First Step, or known as desktop publishing, where you must have acquired certain skills about the computer approach. But never mind, I understand that most of us that enroll here, we don't have those skills. So I have designed a method to see how I can incorporate some of these things that you don't know, and I will try to work with your speed, knowing your level in computing. All right. Now, like I said, a method to analyze data. Now, let's look at the word data. The word data means raw facts, as we are taught in secondary school. But you know what? In this class that you are now, we have to
Sorry,
see the.
I have a question.
Okay, sir.
Please, you made a comment. I was trying to note it, but I didn't get the second one. You said data analytics and something else are the main domain or the AI.
Yeah,
Something
cyber security, cyber security, cyber security.
The second one, I didn't get.
Yeah, that is cyber security. I said the two most trending domain now.
Hello?
Tech. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello?
Are you with me?
Hello?
I want to know if you are hearing me.
Okay, I'm just hearing now. I wasn't hearing before.
All right. So what I was saying is that I mentioned the most trending domain in tech. And the first one by ranking, is data analytics and machine learning. Then followed by cyber security. And as we proceed, I will tell you why these two happen to be the giant at the moment. Did you get that?
Okay, I'm getting you.
All right. So let me proceed with what I was trying to explain. So
Yes.
I will try to explain what is data, because you cannot be a data expert or analyst without understanding what data is, because that is like the raw material. That is what you use. You cannot analyze nothing in a database. So we are analyzing data. That is why we have to start by understanding what is data. Data, I try to explain it from different perspectives. Now, let's look at it from a primary school level. A primary school level of computing will describe data as collection of raw facts yet to be processed in order are to be applied for its purpose. That is data for secondary or primary school level. Now, for us as the advanced, because the class you are in now is an advanced class, is a professional class, we don't refer to data that way that I just described it now. So we see data as information, because at the level of that second primary school I mentioned, we have data and then we have information. The difference between data and information is that data have not been processed. They are raw facts. Why the processed data becomes the information. And once the data has migrated from the state of data to be addressed as information, then it becomes meaningful that can be used for its intended purpose. I don't know if you understand that explanation, sir. I just need a yes before I proceed.
Yes, you are saying that that's no longer the interpretation. So what's the current interpretation?
Now, what I'm saying is that I'm trying to relate the definition to two different levels. I said the basic level, for example, now, if you are teaching a secondary school or a primary school student and you want to define data, you are going to define data as raw facts, which means you are saying that the information has not been processed. It's still raw. It's just like bread. What you call bread, is a processed, maybe it's a processed version of flour and some other ingredients. So we have it like that. But in this level, in this class you are now, which is data analysis, we don't see data as raw facts. We see data as information. That is what I'm saying. So each time I use the word data, you should be seeing it as collected information from a live event. So there was an event that occurred that led to the capturing of what you see as data. Am I communicating, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So now,
but when we process it now, what will it now be when it's already information?
You said, now, sorry.
After processing it, what do we now call it?
After
because it's already
processing, yes, after processing it, it becomes information. It's no longer called data. That is for the primary school level. But
yes,
like I
this
said,
one now,
the class you are in now, each time the word data is mentioned, what you should know is that is collected information. That is, it has passed through two stages before you are referring to it as data. And what are those stages? The stage one is what we call data entry. Data entry. Now, data entering is where you are imputing, where you are using a framework or a library. Like Excel now, Excel have a spreadsheet which help us to collect the data and store them in the variables. These variables are what you call cells. Now, but what I'm saying is that as a data analyst, why we shouldn't see it as raw fact, because what we are given to analyze has passed through that collection stage. Am I correct, sir? Are you following?
Network is bad. Can you repeat?
Okay. Now, what I'm simply saying is that as data analysts, our major responsibility is not to generate the data, though is an arm of this, is a domain under this field called data analysis. We call them data entry personnel. That is where they are the ones that have the skills to put data together and to format or to transform the data before such a data set is handed over to an analyst like you and I. So why I gave you that definition, that we as data analysts, we shouldn't see data as raw fact. We should see data as processed information or
we should see data as information, it is because the data you are given to analyze has passed through the collection stage, has also passed through the transformation stage. So at the level is given to you, there are some level of perfection, of cleaning that must have taken place before it's handed over to you. So when you are seeing it, you don't longer see it as raw fact. You see it as transformed data. I want to be sure that we get that point before I proceed.
So when we finish analyzing it, what do we now call it?
Okay, now when you finish analyzing, that is where you must have brought out your insights and your trend and the pattern. Now, when you finish analyzing, what you are presenting to the stakeholder is what we call executive report. That is what the stakeholder will use in making smart decisions. They gave you the data because they don't understand, they cannot interpret the data. So you as an expert, you have deployed some of the techniques, some of the tools to be able to derive those insights from the data that can be used, that can guide them in decision making, not just decision, making exact decision that will lead to some breakthrough in their business. Is that clear to you, sir?
Very, very clear. Thank you, sir.
All right. Glory, welcome. Hope you can hear us clearly.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening. I can hear you clearly, sir.
All right. All right. So, okay. So let me quickly proceed. So like I was saying, I said data analytics involve using various techniques, tools, and methods to analyze data from different sources. They're what we call data wrangling or data mugging, which we are going to know as we proceed. Now, this data wrangling is the ability of a data analyst when he or she is given data that are not stored in the suitable format that can be read by the tool or with the tool you are using, then you should know how to convert such data to correspond with that language or with that framework format. For example, we have comma delimited file format, which is called CSV. We have pure Excel format. If you are using SQL, you might be given data in CSV or in Excel format. So you should know how to switch the format from Excel format to CSV, which SQL easily work with. So the process of changing your file or your data format to suit the tool or the application you are using, it is called data wrangling or data mugging. So we are going to get to know about that. But why I have to quickly mention that is because of that statement in my slide that says analyze data from different sources. We have data stored in cloud, Azure, and other platforms. So you as a data analyst, you should be able to know how to access data from these various platforms, such as database, like I've mentioned here, spreadsheets, and even what? External data sources. So that is what. Now, what is the keyword here that describe a summary before I move to the next slide? The keyword here is that as a data analyst, you must know how to examine data when it's given to you. I want us to understand that the data, what you see, a layman will see data as just data, as just record. But we see data as the company KPI, which is what? Key performance indicator. So when you are given data, always know as a data analyst that that data is the past status of that organization. That same data is the current status of that organization. And that is where you will need to learn more algorithm that can help you to predict. That is, the data you are currently given to analyze. Define the company past tense and the present. So now you as a data analyst, after you have deployed all these techniques to draw the insight, you will now be able to tell the company that by next 5 years, this is where your company has the potential of growing to. So that's what we call what? Predictive analysis. Like I said, it's part of what I have programmed to teach us tonight, but just make sure don't time, get to know all that. So that is all about what data analysis is all about. Don't forget that it is about processing and examining what and interpreting data to extract. That is, you are looking for something. And what are you looking for? You're looking for meaningful insight, pattern, and trend. So that takes me to my next slide. What is the goal of data analytics? What is actually our target? I have mentioned some of them in my previous slide, but this is where I just want to narrow down to the main goal, what our objective. One of the characteristics of a data analyst is the ability to... Okay, sir.
What you talk about external sources? What are the examples of such external sources?
Database like websites, data that are collected and stored in the website.
You mentioned database. You mentioned
that is external. That is external.
But you also saw an other external.
Yes, and other external. I mentioned Azure. That is cloud storage.
I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I think it's your network. Oh, okay. If you can hear me, let me know. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, sir? Mr. Jolly?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so the other external storage that I refer to could be your cloud storage. Individual organization have purchased quota in some of these cloud storage company. There are companies that offer like Amazon. You understand? I don't know if you have heard of Amazon. Have you heard of Amazon?
Yes.
Good. These are cloud storage. These are cloud storage based. So people will buy space and store their content. Then a company that hires you as a data analyst can give you that cloud storage to derive the data you are to analyze from. That is other word, external storage. Why your website, that is what I refer to as what? Database. Don't worry, as we proceed, you get to know some of these things. Is that clear to you now?
All right.
Okay, so now let's quickly talk about the goals of data analytics. So I was trying to tell us that every data analyst has an objective. And one of the characteristics of a data analyst, the mindset of a data analyst or the attribute is that you must be a critical thinker. That is the reason why a data analyst can work in every organization. The best department that is recommended for data analysts to work is the admin and the policy-making department of every organization. These are people that think outside the box to provide solutions for the organization. These are people that help the organization to navigate which direction to go. So you can see the reason why data analytics is very, very important across board. There is no how do I put it? There is no succeeded company today that one way or the other that does not leverage on making decisions based on what their data says. Don't forget I said the company data that's given to you define their status, their current status, and their past status. So at the end of your analysis, you project for them. So we have goal, we have objective, and one of them is that what we gain insight and understanding of data. So every data analyst must know, must understand. That is why your first approach when you are given data, you study the data. And while you are studying the data, there are things you should be looking for, which will help you in achieving those three things I mentioned. Your insight to identify the trend, identify the pattern, and the outliers. So for you to be able to identify those key analysis or analysis features, you must first of all start by studying your data. It's very important. Now, number two, identify pattern and trend. Now, let me explain some of these terms that I'm using. When you say pattern, for example, if I'm given the data that have been collected for a period of 3 months, let's say state inventory data, the company would like me to present to them at the end of my analysis which of these 3 months perform better. And if at the end of the day, I'm able to tell them that March did better than February, then I must also clearly show the pattern. What was the movement, which we call the outlier, the difference between the highest and the lowest? What is the range, the variance between these two entities? That is the pattern. We want to know, because the pattern can be progressive and it can be regressive. So every company wants a progressive pattern. That is what the report of January should be better than the report of February. The report of February should be better than the report of what? March. Now, that is the basis the company uses in examining the performance of every department. That the season we are now, many people will be sacked from different departments across companies. Why? Because this is the period where our service as data analysts is highly needed. This is the period where organizations are closing their year account. So what they will do is that they will engage what we call auditor, that is in the accounting firm, the accounting system that will come and audit the account. Those auditors you are seeing, they are also analysts. Most of them have started advancing from the manual method towards a digital method that helps them to find out, because they are going to submit a report. That report is what the company will use to know which staffs are to be retained or which staff are to be laid off as they proceed to the new year. So the pattern matters. So that is one of the goals of data analytics, to understand the pattern. Now, number three, to make informed decisions. To make informed decisions. So one of our objectives is that we want to help. We are like counselor. We are like advisor to every organization. Before every company manager or CEO invests certain amount of money, they must consult a data analyst to tell them what is the data saying and how do I distribute my capital. How do I know whether I'm to invest on this product or on that product? So it is the insights, your presentation, that executive report that I mentioned, that will help such an organization to know, so that at the end of the day, they will make profit. So that is one objective, make informed decision. Now, the next one is improve business operations. Every organization will always know when to improve, when to change strategies. That is because a data analyst must have helped them to identify patterns. A data analyst help them to identify what their trend, whether it is progressive or it is regressive. Now, most companies, once they notice that the pattern is regressive, then they wake up from slumber. They wake up immediately. They know that, let's quickly change this stats because this is not working. How did they get to know that this is not working? Because a data analyst has presented a report that says this need to be what? Consider or work on immediately if we want to attain certain what? Level. Now, the last one here is that enhance customer experience. So that is one of the goals. Because at the end of the day, if we are making informed decision, if we are actually paying attention to what our data is saying, we will end up satisfying our customers. We will know when to increase the price. Just imagine some organization. They will just wake up and just increase price because just like the current economy now, everybody, I want to increase price. No, there are bases where you that informs you whether you are to increase or not. You have to look at the environment, the performance so far of that product. Is there enough awareness? You need to consider so many factors. So a company that have a data analyst that give them periodic reports tend to make what? Informed decision. I don't know if you all understand everything I've explained to this level before I go to the next slide. Any question on what I've said so far?
It's clear. I just want to ask you to shed a little more light. When you say making informed decision and improving business operations, it seems to me that business operation is one of such decisions.
Yeah.
That improving business operation is one of such decisions that can be made based on the analysis submitted
by the data analyst.
So it seems to me that number 4 is equal to, it's just one section of number 3.
Yes.
What are other informed decisions? And even customer experience is also one of those things, because if you make informed decisions are management decisions. Yeah. And it could be, for example, you could do a layoff if you want to do a layoff.
Yeah.
You can divest if you want to divest.
Exactly.
You can actually shrink. You can actually change your vendor.
Yeah.
That's what you can actually do.
Good.
So this, can you put a little bit more light on this improving business operations? What are those operations you really are talking about?
Okay, now when you say operation, just to summarize it, now the operation, every organization have activities. Those activities can be better off, can be improved on because of the company being informed of their previous activities. For example, let me take the human resource. You have even said it all. Now, you will know at a point whether you are to change your strategy. That is what I highlighted. You will know whether you are to introduce new strategy, because number 3 will have informed you that this is not working, that is not working, then change. So by the time you change your methodologies of running that business, just because number 3 has informed you, then you will now end up improving your operation. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Network, hello?
I think it's from your end. Can you hear me? I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I think it's from your end. Because it seems as if you are the only one having network issue. Please, when we are joining next time, let's try and make arrangement for alternative network. If you check if your area is not good with MTN, then you also make arrangement for another network. Can you hear me now, sir? Are you with me? Mr. Jolly, are you with me? Okay, so I think network is actually, so while we are waiting for Mr. Jolly, I want to believe other Miss Flourish, Mrs. Glory, if you have any contribution while we are waiting for him, please.
I think he's using Airtel because I was having similar problem before. Before I switched to MTN.
Okay, so MTN rule the world. You are marketing MTN here now.
No, this evening rather, I think Airtel is having issues because I was having the issues before. But as I switched to MTN now, I think MTN have more service now.
Okay. So, Miss Glory. Okay.
All right, so let's see if let's give him like 2 to 3 minutes to join back. So what I will do is that I will give room for question and answer section so that we can move with the pace. All right, let me see. Let's give him 3 minutes.
Hello.
Okay, hi, Mr. Jolly, you are here. So, Mr. Jolly,
I had to rejoin. I was thrown off.
So
I
what
wasn't.
try and
I
get
was trying to tell
better.
you that I was thrown off.
Okay, all right. So I think I've explained that, but what we'll do, like I said, please let's have a way of writing down some of the question. So
You're breaking.
once I'm done with the explanation of an entire slide, then I'll give us room to ask questions instead of interrupting at each level so that we can have a good conversation. Can you hear me now, sir? Mr. Jolly? Mr. Jolly, you have to change your network. If you are using Airtel, please switch to MTN.
Yes, I can
If you are using MTN,
hear
please
now.
change your network. It's from your end. Other people are having network.
Breaking again.
Is your end. Try and change the network. Change the network, please. Switch to another.
I'm using MTN now.
That means MTN might not be good in your area, so you might consider another network.
I'm using MTN. I don't have.
Okay, please subsequently try and make arrangement for multiple network because you know the way the country is. Sometimes one particular network may not be. Okay, so I'll move to the next slide. I will say give room for questions at the end of each slide, please. So let's go to the next section. Now here I'll be talking about types of data analytics. So at the end of the day, you know which aspects you are good at. But mind you, you are expected to be good at all this level because method 1 might be applied in one company scenario, and then method 2 might not be applied. That is why it's necessary for us to understand these various types of data analysis. And I've tried as much to give us an idea of the questions that arises from each of these type of data analysis. So the first one is called descriptive analysis. Descriptive analysis. Now, descriptive analysis is what we also refer to as exploratory analysis, where you deploy a technical data mining or using some function to exploit the data for insights that can enhance smart decision making. Now, at the end of your descriptive analysis, there is a question that you are to answer. And what is that question? What happened? What happened? So there will always be what happened question to answer each time you perform descriptive analysis. All this will be practicalized as we proceed. So like I said, I just want to give us a very strong foundation before we proceed. Now, we have diagnostic analysis. Now, diagnostic analysis, this is where you will get to know at the end of your analysis why it happened. For example, your analysis is showing that you analyze 3 months data history for an organization. Let's say you analyze their profit. In the month of January, your analysis is showing that the company realized 100 million. In the month of February, the company realized 200 millions. In the month of March, the company realized 400 millions.
So you can see that the trend is what is the March because it's the highest,
and then the pattern is the difference between each of them.
So now, at the end of the day, you must have deployed those techniques, those tools to help you to get this information I just mentioned. But at the end of the day, there will be a question of what happened that March generated the highest profit compared to the first 2 months. So that's the kind of analysis. So get ready as a data analyst to tell the organization what happened. So, and for you to be able to present that report, you must know your pattern and your outliers. And then that is where you will now, at the end of the day, present what we call recommendation. At the end of your analysis, 2 things are expected to be presented to the stakeholder: the observations and the recommendation. Recommendation is what you think they should work on to change the narrative. At the end of your analysis, what are the outlier? What are the area that you think that perform very low, that the company need to pay attention? So you as a data analyst, you need to help them to recommend some options. So what happened will come in there that March generated the highest profit. That is descriptive analysis. Now, why it happened? So you must tell us the pattern, as in you must be able to tell us what makes March to generate higher or highest profit. So your analysis, these are the things you look for, so that at the end of the day, you can tender this report. Then we have predictive analysis. So predictive analysis answers the question, what might happen? What might happen? And this is one of the area most companies are having more interest in now. And it is this number 3 that brought in the machine learning you are hearing, the data science you are hearing, which is like the next level after data analytics. To be able to leverage on AI tools, AI algorithm, to be able to predict. So this time around, instead of you in data analysis, you are going to perform predictive analysis. But that predictive analysis, to an extent, will be based on assumption, will be based on what your descriptive analysis is saying and what is your diagnostic analysis is saying. Then you will just make an assumption which has a way of being accurate or very close to the precise outcome or precise value. So we now come to the era whereby human perspective of predictive analysis is now a kind of adapted, that most companies are not 100% relying on human prediction. So what they are doing now, what we are using right now is that is where machine learning. So we are not taking the data and giving it to the machine. Train the machine, which is the computer, using some advanced algorithm to understand the data and then create some samples and use those samples to predict. So this time around is the machine that will now predict. That is the data science you are hearing. So let me go to the number 4, prescriptive analysis. So most time, people don't usually include this one, but it's very important. And the question that arises from this analysis is what to do. What to do. So after your descriptive, where you are able to understand what happened, after your diagnostic, where you are able to know why, what happened, or why that particular item did better, after you have been able to tell them, or let's say you can skip the number 3 and go to number 4 and know what to do after the first 2 analysis. So these are the main types of data analytics. So I want to give room for asking questions as regard to this slide before I move to the next slide. If there's no question, then just use the comment section, or you can just unmute and say, go on, sir. Let me just proceed.
Go on, sir.
Okay.
All right, so let me check. I think there are some messages here. Okay, okay. All right, so feel free to share the WhatsApp link to your friends. All right, now let's quickly go to the next slide. And on the next slide, my focus here is to explain those techniques we have been talking about since. Remember in our first slide, I said data analysis is the process of examining data in order to extract meaningful insight, pattern, and trend using various or different techniques. So now we want to discuss the techniques. So every domain, every discipline has their own techniques on achieving their aim. So the same thing as data analysts, we have our own techniques. And these are the things you enroll to learn. And this, you are not going to be using your hand to be breaking down the data. You are going to be leveraging on system or techniques. And one of the techniques are the ones that I have outlined here, data mining. Data mining is also referred to as exploration, where you are given data as a data analyst, and then you are drilling the data for certain things, just like people that exploit oil, they mine oil. I mean, what they will drill the soil, and then they are looking for something. So that is how we also operate as data analysts. So when you apply some function, depending on the tool you are using, in a moment we get to those tools, so you know the tools that are available and the most recognized one. So depending on the tool you are using, for example, if you are using Microsoft Excel, you are going to leverage on some advanced functions as your technique to perform the exploratory analysis or data mining. Then statistical analysis, you are going to perform a lot of statistics. Most of these decisions are going to be influenced by statistics. And statistics actually represent is what guides us, is what helps you to know which direction. So in the course of explaining those slides, or probably the slide before this, I have already mentioned some statistical analysis where you were comparing, where you were talking about the trend, which we call in a simple term, the mode. Remember that the mode in statistics is the most occurrence, which we have translated to the trend here now. So that is statistical analysis. The machine learning is another technique, like I've mentioned, that is the data science you are hearing. Data science, as we proceed, you know the thin line separating data science from data analytics. Now, data visualization. So visualization is just like using different models, different container, different system to present your findings. You can use graph model, you can use tabular model. All these are visualization. So, most time when people hear the word visualization, what comes to their mind is graph. Graph is one of the model, one of the visualization method in data analysis. It's not just graph. Only that the graph helps us to easily detect those key analysis features, such as the pattern, the trend, and the outliers. Now we have test analysis. So we have in some cases where you use tests to present your findings. So all these are techniques that will be deployed as a data analyst to either perform descriptive analysis, diagnostic analysis, predictive analysis, or prescriptive analysis. So any question so far on this slide before I move to the next slide? If you don't have question, just kindly say, sir, proceed.
Please, can you run it? Can you run through it again?
Which aspect?
I don't know if you don't mind, if you can run them again, because the statistical analysis, data mining, they're not too clear. I know you've mentioned machine learning a few times.
Yeah.
So, and then data visualization, you talk about graph. Then the text analytics, is it different from statistical analysis? Is it a statistical analysis? Are they just figures? Text, are they just letters? Please, can you just run through them again, please?
Okay, so let me just hit on the ones you requested for more explanation, starting with the statistical analysis. Like I was saying, in data analysis, most of our analysis, they are statistical in nature. It's just like the basic statistical concept we understood probably know in our secondary school, where they taught us mode, media, and average, variance, standard deviation, and the rest of them. Now, like I said, if we are to rate the entire data analysis, 80% of it falls under statistical analysis. Statistical analysis is where you are leveraging on statistical function for statistical what? Breakdown of statistical what? Analysis. So it's just like the best example I can use at the moment is that trend that I explained earlier on, where I explained that you did an analysis and at the end of the day, you discover that the month of March generated the highest profit. That is statistics. Statistics talk about the figure. What is the figure saying? That is statistics. So as we proceed, most of this, they will sound grammatical now, but when we get to the practical explanation, you will understand them. And if you don't get the explanation I'm giving, Google is there. You can always go to Google and get more clarification on some of these things. So one of the skills you must have as a tech person, you must have the ability to research. It's very important so that we can proceed, sir. Are we communicating? Sir, are you with us? I believe your network is disturbing you. So like I said, the video will be available later via our YouTube page or my personal YouTube page, where you can go through it. But I just want us to see how we can cover our plans. Mr. Jolly, are you with us?
I wasn't hearing you. All the things you said
Okay,
were
so
breaking.
what will happen? Like I said, the video will be available. You can go through it again. I was saying that you can make additional research if my explanation is not clear enough regarding to some of this. Because my target is when we get to the practical session, you get to know, because as a beginner, most of this will look too advanced for you. So there's no amount of explanation somebody will give you at your level now that you really understand. When you start applying some of these things in real time, you will understand them, sir. Are we communicating?
Well, let's go ahead.
All right, sir. Now let's go to the next slide where I want to talk about data analysis tools. Now, with what I have explained so far, if you want to practice this, you need to leverage on any of these tools. It's either as a data analyst, if you are given data to analyze, you either choose whether to analyze with Excel or Tableau or Power BI or Python using libraries called Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib. As we continue, when we get to Python, most of these things that you are hearing will be very clear to you. You will see where we'll be working with this library, real, and you will see the results they will be generating. Now, you can also use R programming. So R programming is specifically used for statistical analysis and for machine learning. But Python is one of the strong tools based on the availability of libraries. So Python and R, they are mainly used for machine learning. and they are also used for data analysis. Now we have SQL, which is called Structured Query Language. Now, is a tool, and one of the reasons why this tool is very essential is that if you don't understand this tool, you may not be able to analyze data directly in a website. And we all know, or statistics have shown, that in a developed country, I don't want to use Nigeria as an example, in a developed country, most of their data are stored in cloud, not even in their local machine and website. So if, for example, you are given data, a company can decide that they don't trust you as an external data analyst, where they can lift their data from their website database and give to you to analyze and then submit your report, your findings. They will mandate you, they will open up the website, for example, you are working for them, or the days you are coming to the organization, they will open their website for you and tell you to analyze your data directly from their website. So that is where we will learn query language, which can be used to draw insight from data. Then we have data science platform, e.g. data robots. And all this, they are for data science. But remember, this program is targeting just data analytics, not data science. Now, we are going to start with Excel in our next class. And then once we are done with Excel, we move to the next one. And like we told you as what you register for, out of all these, we are going to be looking at Excel, Power BI, Python, R, and SQL. So these are the ones you actually register for. So I will now move to the next slide. The next slide is where we want to talk about some application of data analytics, so that you know why you are learning it. After acquiring these skills, where are the possible domains where you can secure job, or who are the people that are, or what are the companies that are currently consuming the service of a data analyst? Education, e-commerce, airline, banking, agriculture, fast food, all these eateries, supermarket, and the rest of the healthcare is largely consuming our services. Government. So you can see that almost all the main sector, one way or the other, consume the service of a data analyst. And you notice from the COVID-19 period, that is when these so-called calls started getting what, getting to know about, as across the world. Because that COVID-19 actually exposed so many countries and so many organizations the importance of having data. When so many countries could not even give palliative, when so many companies could not even distribute so-called palliative because they were limited. Because why? Because they don't have data. So almost every sector currently have come to see or to know the importance of leveraging on data when it comes to what? Decision making. So these are just few. I just tried to capture the main area where data analysis is largely applied. Now let's quickly look at, so this is where I try to list them. So this is still under application of data analysis in business intelligence, marketing and sales, finance and accounting, healthcare and medicine, social media and customer. You see today Facebook analyzing your performance. I want to believe that some of us here, hope you know that there is an integrated system Facebook use or uses to analyze people that like your posts, people that view it, people that are commented on your post. So all these are different areas. That is social media application of data analysis, supply chain and logistic. all the sport and entertainment. Look at the Niger bet. People are betting today. Do you know that people that are betting, they must have at one stage or the other done some analysis? How would they know that Chelsea will win the game when they have not taken time to study Chelsea past performance compared to the club they want to play at that very moment? So what some of them that usually win some of these game does is to go and study the history of Chelsea as regard to that particular team they want to confront. And then from there, they will be able to know, okay, in the last 5 games, Chelsea played with Man City. Chelsea won 3 and Man City won 2. So it is good for them to say or to conclude that there is every possibility of Chelsea winning again. But they will also consider the current players and the current status of these two teams instead of just looking at the previous performance. So what the scenario that I just narrated now is data analysis. So there is nobody, even you, before you spend your money, before you spend money, you analyze whether you leverage on these AI tools or not. Everybody, as far as I'm concerned, analyzes data at different level. Only that the difference between you and them is that they don't understand those techniques, but you understand the techniques and the tool that can give you a precise result. So that at the end of the day, when you take your decision, you hit the target. Every average Nigeria analyzes data in their mind. When they want to spend their money, they analyze their salary. They may not consult Excel. And that is the reason why some of them, they fail, because they lack the knowledge of this technical skill that are more precise than the human words assumption. So these are some areas where data analysis is usually what apply. Now let's quickly talk about the benefit of data analytics. The benefit of data analytics. So one of it is that what improved decision making. So it's part of what we have talked about. Enhanced business what efficiency. A business that analyzes data, that take decision based on what their data is saying through the data analyst, at the end of the day, produce more results than such a business that will just dip their hand in their pocket and invest anyhow without considering certain factors. Then it also increase revenue. When you analyze your business data, that is what we call business analytics. These are experts that specialize on analyzing data that are derived from business transaction for better business decision making. So when you analyze your sales, for example, you're able to know whether, okay, to redirect your capital to a particular product, because you must have found out from your analysis that this product is performing better than the other product. And when you have more of that product available, you will now see that that will now increase your sales. And then we end up increasing your revenue. Now, better customer understanding. So data analysis help you to understand, because your analysis will tell you the behavior of this customer, because there will have been a column that recorded the customer sequentially or randomly due to how they perform the transaction. So at the end of your analysis, you will know which customer. So you have a better understanding on these various customers you are dealing with as a data analyst. So that's one of the benefits. So these benefits, they are directly to business or to organization. So in case you are selling yourself or your skill and you want to convince them why they should hire you, these are some of the things you should point out. Once they are able to align with you on this, they will see the need for your service. Now, competitive advantage. Competitive advantage. Now, we all know that if you are selling mango or you are selling a particular product, always know that there are competitors. So the data analysis will help you to know the weakness and the strength. And then you will now be able, because you'll be getting information about your transaction performance. And that will help you to know why. And then by the time you know why, then you will now find a way. Maybe one of the why could be that your product is not up to standard. That is the reason why people are purchasing another company product over your own. So your analysis will tell you all this, will inform you all this, and then that will now quickly make you to adjust or to improve your product that will enable you to what? To be at that competitive edge with your competitors. Now, data-driven insight. So you will now be operating based on what your data is saying, not based on what you feel should be. Then strategic planning. So you'll be able to plan. So you can see, I don't think there's any company that actually want to break even that will not appreciate the service of a data analyst, or that would not want to analyze their data. So there are a whole lot of benefits. Now let's look at the differences between data analytics and data science. Remember, I told us it's one of the things I plan to teach us tonight. So data analytics and data science are related, but distinct fields with different focus, methodology, and goals. So the difference is that a data analyst, we have different objective, different target, while a data science, we have its own. But one way or the other, they are connected. So data analysis is the first school you must graduate from before you can advance towards data science. So when you advance to data science, you are completely leveraging on AI tools using the available algorithm, depending on the language you are using, whether Python or R, for training your data, for your data cleaning, and other things that are involved. Now here, this is where I try to cite some of the focus so that you know what should be the sole responsibility or what data analytics is all about compared to what data science. In data analytics, we focus on examining and interpreting existing data to extract insight and meaning, which I've already pointed out. While in data science, we encompasses a broader range of activity, including data analysis, machine learning, and scientific inquiry. That is what we are now leveraging on AI tools for performing some of those things you are using your skill, your technical know-how to get. Then number 2, data analysis aims to answer specific business questions or solve operational problems. Then for data science, aims to discover new knowledge, patterns, and relationship in complex data. That is why in data science, we have what we call the unsupervised and the supervised algorithm. The unsupervised is just like data that is not properly structured. The person that collected the data did not bear in mind that a data analyst is going to what? Draw insight. So as a result of that, the person must have collected the data in an unstructured manner that will help you to easily identify your threat. So what you do under unsupervised, you will now restructure. You will consider what we call row regularity. You will consider what? A column reduction using different algorithms. At the end of the day, you will now develop model that can suit your analysis. That is for data science. That is the relationship. Now, number 3, typically uses statistical and machine learning techniques to analyze data, combines data analysis, computer science, and domain expertise to extract what? Insight. The number 4, emphasizes data visualization and communication of findings. So you can go on and on and on, just like you have on the slide, as a way of helping us to differentiate data analytics from data science. So you can make more research. Google is there. Most of this theoretical aspect I'm talking about, you can make out time to go and consult. Like I said, every computer expert must know how to use Google. You must make Google your friend, because learning does not stop here. You continue. So this is one person's version. So you need to look outside to check what another person is saying to know whether you can find some level of what? Correlation. All right, so I'll give room for question. Now, key differences. So here I summarize it. The key differences between the data analysis and data science what is the scope, the methodology, the goals, and the skill set. Data analysis focus on those things. These are like repetition of what I have explained in the previous slide. Now, if you go to the next one, I think this is good. So this is where, remember, part of our plan, I said at the end of this session, you will know your salary structure so that you know why it's trending. Because you know, particularly our country, everybody tend to go into a particular IT domain just because it's lucrative, without understanding where their strength lies on. So it is very important. That is why I started by asking us why. You must know the reason why you want to break into any technology domain. Otherwise, you will just go and learn it, and then you feel that you wasted your effort and your money. That is where you need to meet an IT consultant most time before you choose. And that is one of the service we offer here. If you need that, you can always ask us for it, where, like I said, as you can see here, that what we train and mentor. So if you are confused in entering a particular domain of tech, you can ask those of us that have spent years in it. We can tell you the difference between one and the other and why you should learn one. There are some that you will learn today, the next year they have expired. But you see, in as much the quest of data increases by organization, data analytics cannot be degraded. And the reason why you see cyber security, which is one of the programs that we'll start offering by January 2025 here on this platform, the reason why that cyber security is as if is trending, because now most organizations have developed interest, confidence in storing their data on the internet. Why? Because there are now AI method or system that can secure their data. Now, those organizations, as they are consulting data analysts to be analyzing those data that are stored across different storages, they are also consulting data security experts, cyber security experts, to secure those domains, those storages. So that's why you see that both data analytics and cyber security, they are marketing themselves, because they cannot do without each other. The only thing is that the job opportunity are more out there for data analysts than cyber security. A company of 10 branches can just hire one cyber security expert, while a company of those 10 branches can never hire what? One data analyst. So that is one of the reasons data analytics is still at the top, but they are going together. Now look at the salary structure of data analysts. Entry level, 0 to 2 years experience, based on different country currency. So in dollar, this is what you earn per year. Mid-level, 2 to 5 years experience. This is what you earn. Then senior level. So there are different categories of what? Data analysts in a company. Now, this is for data science. You can see the salary different. You can see the amount here. You can see that the data science scientists' salary are far higher because, like I said, is the advanced aspect of data analysis. And the focus of data scientists is building system, discovering new methodologies that can structure data for better insight drawing. So this brings us to the end of the first class of this master class, 3 ways crash training on data analytics. So I will now give room for question. If you have question, you now have the opportunity to chip in your question for the next 10 minutes or thereabout, then we can close. Do we have question? Flourish, Mr. Jolly, mistake.
I don't have a question.
I have Mr. Austin. I believe it's the Austin that I know. Okay, sir, go ahead with your question, sir.
I said I don't have a question.
Okay. So, Ms. Gloria, are you with us?
Good evening, I'm with you. Please, sorry, I didn't get the package that is, within this program.
Okay.
Mentioned advanced SQL and
Let me see if I can quickly go back where I mentioned this program. Okay, so these are the program, like I said, but the one that this registration covers are Excel, which is advanced Excel. Then, but we will start with the basic in the next class. So I will dedicate the next 2 classes for the basic, for those that have not used Excel before we can dive into the advanced aspect, which is mostly used for data analysis, because the basic aspect of Excel is for data entry and data formatting, which is expected to have learned before coming into this advanced Excel section for data analysis. But we will dedicate the next 2 sessions to handle that. And I can assure you, you understand the basic very well. Then we are taking this, we are taking this, we are taking this, we are taking this. We are taking this, but we are not taking number 7, and then we are not taking number 2. But once you follow us to the end, once you understand Power BI, I can assure you on your own, you can go and learn Tableau. The reason why I don't want to use it is that it's not an open source. If not, it is very simple. It's one of the easiest. So once you have knowledge of Power BI and Excel and other, you should be able to learn Power BI. It's not an open source. What I mean is that it's not free. We have to pay for us to use it to train you. Any question again? And we're also considering the time frame.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
so before
Sorry, please.
Okay. Come again, ma. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Maybe something I can ask later. Let me not take your time. The time for lecture, is it every day or some selected days in the week?
Some selected days. So we are going to discuss it actually today being the first class. So the idea is that I will consult every one of us that have paid. Then we will come together and choose a time. But we have 2 sessions that we are actually running on this. The first session, we have a session that will be running in the evening. We have a session that will be running early in the morning from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Also for some selected days, at the minimum twice in a week. So we'll be running this together, both the evening session and the afternoon, the early morning session. And you have access to all the videos. At the end, we will also issue a register certificate. If you want us to help you to process international certification, because I work at NIT, I can help you to process it, provided you are ready to pay the cost.
Any other question? Mr. Jolly wanted to say something so that we can hand up, please.
No, go ahead. Let's fix the date. I said I don't have any question.
All right.
So before we end the class, Mr. Jolly, in 2 minutes, can you summarize what you have learned so far?
Just to know if you were following. 2 minutes.
Okay, well, basically, you've told us about the difference between the traditional understanding of data and information and what it is to a data analyst. And you are saying that data analyst information is, data is actually information. And after processing it, we give executive summary, executive report to stakeholders. That's one of the things I've learned. You also distinguish between data analysis and data science. And then I think you said more of machine learning and AI is what's data science. What data analysis has to do with using some of these tools, as I've mentioned, to analyze data. Then we what do you call it? Prescribe, mostly use the prescription will be almost accurate.
Okay.
But in terms of data science, which is mostly AI, is totally dependent on machine, and that is very accurate. So those are some of the things you have said, and you've mentioned some of the tools. It's still on the screen. We just remove them now, but those tools, I've noted them, which are going to be learning SQL, which is structured query, language, and others. And then you talk about the ones you will not do, which is Tableau. So we said a lot. Today's class is a lot.
All right, thank you.
And I've also noted start with
all right.
basic aspect of Excel in the next class, so that we can come up to a good level before we go to advanced Excel. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. So if you have not joined our community group where our digital marketer gives updates every time about our master classes, you can join the group. I believe she must have dropped the link in the message section. So just kindly click on it, or you can private chat me for the link. So that link is where we will be communicating. And then for those that have registered, there will be a separate group that will be created. And then where we will always be posting the video link of subsequent classes as we proceed from there. They will give us an update when the next class. So by tomorrow, the specific days